cheating bride shredded my tuxedo, so I revealed her affair on the wedding jumbotron. Yes, you read that correctly. My fiancée didn't just cheat on me 2 weeks before our wedding, she physically destroyed my custom-made $4,000 tuxedo in a fit of rage when I confronted her. So I did what any rational person would do. I gathered every piece of evidence of her affair, compiled it into a beautiful slideshow, and played it on the massive jumbotron screen at our wedding venue in front of 200 guests, her entire family, and the man she was cheating with, who had the audacity to show up as a guest. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where this absolute nightmare began. My name's Jason, I'm 31 years old. And until 3 months ago, I thought I had my life completely figured out. I'm a senior project manager at a tech consulting firm in Austin, Texas, pulling in a comfortable 6-figure salary. I own a beautiful 3-bedroom house in a nice suburb, drive a Tesla Model 3, and had what I believed was the perfect relationship with my fiancée, Amanda. Amanda and I met 4 years ago at a mutual friend's barbecue. She was stunning, long auburn hair, green eyes, infectious laugh, the kind of woman who could light up a room just by walking into it. She worked as a marketing coordinator for a mid-sized advertising agency and seemed to have her life together. We clicked immediately. Within 6 months, we were living together. Within 2 years, I proposed at her favorite restaurant with a $12,000 engagement ring that took me months to save for. The wedding was planned for June 15th at the Grand Estate, one of Austin's most prestigious wedding venues. We'd booked it a year in advance. The deposit alone was $8,000. We were expecting 200 guests. I'd hired a premium catering service, a live band, a professional photographer, videographer, a whole 9 yards. Total budget, around $75,000, most of which I was covering since I earned significantly more than Amanda. I was all in. This was supposed to be the best day of our lives. Amanda seemed excited too, though looking back now, I realized she was more excited about the wedding than the marriage. She obsessed over every detail. The flowers had to be perfect, the centerpieces had to match her Pinterest board exactly, the dress had to be custom designed. She spent hours planning the aesthetic of the event, making sure every Instagram photo would be flawless. But there were signs I missed. Or maybe I ignored them because I didn't want to see the truth. Amanda had always been protective of her phone, but in the last 6 months, it became extreme. She'd take it with her everywhere, the bathroom, the kitchen when she was making coffee, even to bed where she'd keep it under her pillow. If I got anywhere near it, she'd snatch it away with some excuse about privacy or not wanting to lose it. She started working late more often. Big client pitch, she'd say, or team bonding dinner. She'd come home at 10 or 11 p.m. smelling like wine and cologne. When I suggested I pick her up from these late events, she'd get defensive, accusing me of being controlling. Then there was Derek. Derek was Amanda's work friend, a creative director at her agency. She mentioned him constantly. Derek thinks this campaign idea is brilliant. Derek suggested this new restaurant. Derek's so funny, you'd love him. She insisted he was just a colleague, nothing more, and that I was being insecure when I expressed discomfort with how often she talked about him. Red flags everywhere. But I loved her. I trusted her. I was a fool. The truth came crashing down 2 weeks before the wedding. It was a Saturday morning, late May. Amanda had left her laptop open on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. Her iMessage was synced to it, and a notification popped up that made my blood run cold. Derek, can't wait for tonight, babe. Told my wife I'm working late again. Miss you already, red heart. I froze. My hands started shaking. I read the message 3 times to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. Then I did something I never thought I'd do. I clicked on the conversation. What I found destroyed me. Months of messages. Hundreds of them. Explicit photos. Videos. Messages about how they couldn't wait for me to finally be out of the picture after the wedding. Plans to run away together once Amanda got access to my assets after marriage. Discussions about how she was only marrying me for financial security and the house. One message from Amanda to Derek read, 2 more weeks and the idiot will sign the marriage papers. Then we wait 6 months. I file for divorce, and I get half of everything. The house alone is worth $600,000, plus his 401k and savings. We'll be set for years. Derek's response, you're brilliant, baby. He has no idea. Keep playing the loving bride. This is the best scam we've ever pulled. I sat there staring at the screen, feeling like someone had ripped my heart out of my chest and stomped on it. For years, for goddamn years of my life. A $12,000 ring, a $75,000 wedding, a house we were supposed to share. All of it was a lie. The shower turned off. I heard Amanda humming happily in the bathroom, probably thinking about Derek. Something inside me snapped. I grabbed my phone and started taking photos of every message, every photo, every incriminating piece of evidence on that laptop. I worked fast, screenshotting dozens of conversations. Amanda walked out of the bathroom wrapped in a towel, saw me at her laptop, and her face went pale. Jason, what are you doing? I looked up at her, and I'm sure my face must have been terrifying because she actually took a step back. How long? I asked, my voice eerily calm. What? I don't. How long have you been fucking Derek? I shouted, started losing my composure. Her face crumbled. She opened her mouth, closed it, and tried to grab the laptop from me. I pulled it away. You went through my private messages? That's a violation of my privacy. You have no right. No right? I was shaking with rage now. You've been planning to marry me, steal half my assets, and run off with your married coworker, and you're talking to me about rights? She started crying, actual tears streaming down her face. Jason, please, let me explain. It's not what it looks like. It's exactly what it looks like. I read everything, Amanda. Everything. The plans to divorce me after 6 months. Calling me an idiot. A scam. All of it. The tears stopped immediately. Her face hardened. This was the real Amanda. The one I'd never seen before. So what are you going to do about it? She asked coldly. The wedding is in 2 weeks. Deposits are paid. Guests are flying in. You really want to cancel everything and look like a fool? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Look like a fool? You're the one cheating. You're the one planning to commit marriage fraud. She laughed. Actually laughed. Who's going to believe you? I'll tell everyone you're lying, that you got cold feet and are making up stories to justify it. My family will side with me. Your family already loves me. You'll be the bad guy who left his bride 2 weeks before the wedding. I have screenshots, I said, holding up my phone. Her expression changed to panic for a second, then back to anger. Those are fake. You photoshopped them. Everyone will believe me over you. Then she did something that still blows my mind. She walked over to the bedroom, came back with fabric scissors, went to our closet, and pulled out my custom-made tuxedo, the one I had tailored specifically for the wedding, the one that cost $4,000, and she started cutting it to shreds. What are you doing? I screamed, lunging toward her. If you're going to ruin this wedding, then there won't be a wedding, she shrieked, cutting through the jacket, the pants, the vest, reducing my tuxedo to ribbons of fabric on the floor. I stood there in shock, watching $4,000 of custom clothing being destroyed in front of me. She was completely unhinged, her face twisted in rage, cutting and tearing like a woman possessed. When she finished, she threw the scissors on the ground and looked at me with pure hatred. You want to cancel the wedding? Fine, but you're paying for everything. Every deposit, every vendor, all of it. And I'm keeping the ring. Then she stormed into the bedroom and locked the door. I stood there surrounded by shredded fabric, holding my phone with all the evidence, and made a decision. The wedding wasn't going to be cancelled. Oh no. The wedding was going to happen exactly as planned, but with one significant addition. Amanda moved out that same day, going to stay with her sister. She texted me that she was taking space to think, and that we'd talk about this rationally later. She actually thought she could still manipulate me, still salvage this. I let her think that. I responded with vague texts like, okay, take the time you need, and we should talk soon. I wanted her to believe she still had control, that maybe she could talk her way out of this. Meanwhile, I was planning something beautiful. First, I called my best friend Marcus, who's a lawyer specializing in family law. I showed him everything, the screenshots, the messages, the evidence of Amanda's plan to commit marriage fraud. Holy shit, Jason, Marcus said, scrolling through the messages. This is insane. She was literally planning to defraud you. You could press charges. I'm not interested in pressing charges, I said. I have something better in mind. I told him my plan. His eyes went wide, and then he started grinning. That's diabolical. I love it, but you need to be careful. If you're going through with the wedding just to humiliate her, she could potentially sue you for emotional distress. Let her try, I said. I have proof she was planning to defraud me. Any lawyer would laugh her out of the office. Next, I contacted the wedding venue. The Grand Estate had a massive outdoor ceremony space with a huge LED Jumbotron screen. One of their selling points was that guests could watch the ceremony up close even from far away. Perfect. I told the venue coordinator that I wanted to add a special surprise video to play right before the ceremony started, a montage of photos and videos of Amanda and me throughout our relationship. Very romantic, very touching. The coordinator loved the idea. What I didn't tell her was what would actually be in that video. I spent the next week compiling everything, every incriminating text message between Amanda and Derek, photos they'd sent each other, screenshots of their plans to defraud me. I even found hotel receipts in Amanda's email. She'd synced her email to our shared iCloud account, showing she'd been meeting Derek at expensive hotels on my credit card. I organized it all into a beautiful slideshow set to romantic music that slowly transitioned to ominous tones. The final slide read, "This wedding is cancelled. Amanda is a fraud and a cheater. Derek, your wife knows everything now." Oh yes, I also sent a copy of everything to Derek's wife, Melissa. She deserved to know who she was married to. Her response was one text, "Thank you. My lawyer will be in touch with him." Amanda continued texting me throughout the week, playing the victim. "I made a mistake," she wrote. "Derek means nothing to me. I love you. Can we please work through this?" When I didn't respond enthusiastically enough, she'd switch to threats. "If you embarrass me, you'll regret it. My family will destroy you. You'll lose everything." I just kept responding with vague, non-committal messages, letting her think she was winning me back. The day before the wedding, I went to Men's Warehouse and bought a new tuxedo off the rack. Nothing fancy, but it would do for what I had planned. Amanda texted me, "Can't wait to marry you tomorrow. I know we can get past this. I love you so much." I responded, "See you at the altar." I didn't sleep that night. I was too excited. The wedding day arrived, June 15th, a beautiful sunny Saturday in Austin. The Grand Estate looked stunning, exactly as Amanda had planned. White flowers everywhere, elegant centerpieces, a massive Jumbotron screen set up perfectly for the outdoor ceremony. Guests started arriving around 4 p.m. The ceremony was scheduled for 5 p.m. I watched from a window as as 200 people filled the seats, my family, Amanda's family, friends, colleagues, and somewhere in that crowd, Derek, who had actually shown up as a guest. The audacity was unreal. Amanda was in the bridal suite getting ready, surrounded by her bridesmaids, completely unaware of what was about to happen. I told the venue coordinator to play my surprise video at 4:55 p.m. right before I was supposed to walk out. At 4:50 p.m., I put on my off-the-rack tuxedo, took a deep breath, and positioned myself where I could see the Jumbotron screen, but Amanda couldn't see me. At 4:55 p.m., the screen lit up. Romantic music started playing. The first slides showed beautiful photos of Amanda and me, our first date, vacations we'd taken, proposal. Guests smiled and awed. Some people started crying happy tears. Then the music shifted to something darker. The next slide showed a screenshot of Derek's text. Can't wait for tonight, babe. Told my wife I'm working late again. Miss you already, red heart. Gasps from the crowd. Confusion on faces. The next slide showed Amanda's response. Miss you more. Only 2 more weeks of pretending to love Jason. Then we're free. The gasps turned into shocked murmurs. People started pulling out their phones. I could see Amanda's mother stand up, confusion on her face. More slides. Explicit messages. Photos of Amanda and Derek together. Hotel receipts. And the big finale, messages about the marriage fraud plan. Amanda, 2 more weeks and the idiot will sign the marriage papers. Then we wait 6 months. I file for divorce, and I get half of everything. The house alone is worth $600,000, plus his 401k and savings. We'll be set for years. Eric, you're brilliant, baby. He has no idea. Keep playing the loving bride. This is the best scam we've ever pulled. The final slide appeared in huge letters. This wedding is cancelled. Amanda is a fraud and a cheater. Eric, your wife Melissa knows everything now. The venue erupted in chaos. People were screaming, crying, shouting. Amanda's bridesmaids burst out of the bridal suite, and seconds later, Amanda herself appeared in her $8,000 wedding dress, her face absolutely horrified. She saw the Jumbotron screen, saw the crowd staring at her, and she literally fell to her knees screaming, "No, no, no, no." Eric tried to run, but several male guests, including my brother and my friends, physically blocked his exit. Someone shouted, "You piece of shit," and threw a drink at him. Amanda's father was red-faced, screaming at her. "What have you done? What is this?" Her mother was sobbing uncontrollably. My mother walked up to Amanda, took off her heels, and threw them at her. "You disgusting snake. My son loved you." Amanda tried to run back into the bridal suite, but her bridesmaids had already left, disgusted. She stood there alone in her expensive dress, mascara running down her face, looking at the crowd that had turned completely against her. I walked out then, calm and collected, and stood in front of the Jumbotron screen. "Ladies and gentlemen," I said into the microphone the officiant was supposed to use, "I apologize for wasting your time today. As you can see, there will be no wedding. However, the reception hall and food are all paid for, so please, enjoy the party. Consider it a celebration of truth and justice." The crowd actually cheered. Some people started applauding. Amanda's family rushed her away while she sobbed and screamed. Derek was cornered by several angry guests who demanded he leave immediately. I heard later that someone slashed his tires in the parking lot. The venue coordinator approached me nervously. "Mr. Jason, what do we do now?" "Serve the food," I said. "Open the bar. Let people dance. We're celebrating freedom." And that's exactly what happened. My friends and family stayed. Most of Amanda's family left in shame, but some of her extended relatives actually stayed, apologizing to me profusely for her behavior. We turned what was supposed to be a wedding into the best party I'd ever attended. People were toasting to my revenge, taking photos with the Jumbotron screen that still displayed Amanda's incriminating messages, and dancing to the live band I'd paid $5,000 for. It was glorious. Update 1. A week after the wedding that was absolute chaos. The story went viral locally. Someone recorded the Jumbotron slideshow on their phone and posted it to TikTok, where it got 4 million views in 3 days. News outlets picked it up. I got calls from morning shows wanting me to tell my story. I declined most of them, but the exposure meant that everyone in Austin knew what Amanda had done. Amanda tried to take legal action immediately. She hired a lawyer and sent me a cease and desist letter demanding I take down the video. I hadn't posted it, but she didn't care, and pay her $100,000 for emotional distress and public humiliation. I forwarded the letter to Marcus, my lawyer friend, who literally laughed out loud. "She has zero case," he said. "Everything you showed was true and documented. Truth is an absolute defense. Plus, she was literally planning to defraud you, which is a crime. If she pushes this, I'll file a countersuit so fast her head will spin." Marcus sent her lawyer a response outlining potential charges Amanda could face: attempted fraud, conspiracy to commit fraud, destruction of property, my $4,000 tuxedo, and identity theft, using my credit card for hotel rooms with Derek without my permission. The letter concluded with, "We recommend your client drop this matter immediately before she faces criminal charges." Amanda's lawyer dropped her as a client 2 days later. Meanwhile, Derek's life was imploding beautifully. His wife Melissa filed for divorce immediately and took their 2 kids. She also informed Derek's employer, the same advertising agency where Amanda worked, about the affair. Both Derek and Amanda were fired within the week for unprofessional conduct and creating a hostile work environment. Apparently, the company didn't appreciate employees using company time and resources to conduct affairs and plan fraud. Amanda's family disowned her. Her father called me personally to apologize. "I raised her better than this," he said, his voice broken. Jason. What she did to you is unforgivable. Her mother and I are ashamed. We're so sorry, Jason. It's not your fault, sir. I told him. You didn't do this. She did. We're cutting her off financially, he continued. No more family money. She needs to learn consequences. Amanda moved in with Derek into a shitty studio apartment across town. Turns out neither of them had much money saved since they'd been spending it all on hotel rooms and expensive dinners. Derek was job hunting with a destroyed reputation, and Amanda couldn't get hired anywhere because the viral video meant every employer in Austin knew her face. But I wasn't done. Oh no. The revenge was just beginning. Update 2. 2 weeks after the wedding disaster, Amanda had the audacity to text me, "I still have your grandmother's ring. If you want it back, you need to pay me $50,000. Otherwise, I'm selling it." My grandmother's ring. The $12,000 heirloom engagement ring I'd proposed with, which had belonged to my grandmother and had immense sentimental value. Amanda was holding it hostage. I immediately forwarded the message to Marcus. "Is this extortion?" I asked. "Absolutely," Marcus confirmed. "She just committed a felony via text message. She's an idiot." Marcus filed a police report for extortion and theft. The police took it seriously given the viral nature of the case and the clear text evidence. Within 24 hours, 2 officers showed up at Amanda and Derek's apartment with a warrant to search for the ring. They found it in a shoebox under Amanda's bed, along with several other items she'd stolen from my house: expensive watches, some of my electronics, even my iPad. Amanda was arrested on the spot for grand theft and extortion. She spent 3 nights in jail before Derek could scrape together bail money. Her mugshot made the local news. The comments section was brutal. "Cheater got what she deserved. That's what happens when you mess with the wrong person. Karma is beautiful." The criminal trial was set for 3 months later, but Amanda's public defender convinced her to take a plea deal. She'd plead guilty to misdemeanor theft, return all stolen property, pay $10,000 in restitution for the tuxedo and other damages, complete 200 hours of community service, and serve 1 year of probation. If she violated probation, she'd serve 6 months in jail. Amanda had no choice but to accept. She was broke, unemployed, and facing a jury that had seen the viral video. No jury in Austin would side with her. But the house situation was even better. Remember how Amanda and I were living together in my house? The house I'd bought before we even met. The house that was 100% in my name. Well, Amanda had somehow convinced herself she was entitled to it. She filed a civil claim arguing that because we'd lived together for 3 years and were engaged, she deserved palimony and a share of the house value. Her new lawyer, she'd gone through 3 at this point, actually tried to argue this in court. Marcus demolished the argument in 15 minutes. "Your Honor, my client purchased this house in 2019, 2 years before he even met Ms. Amanda. The deed is solely in his name. Ms. Amanda contributed nothing to the mortgage, property taxes, or maintenance. She has 0 legal claim. Furthermore, given that she was planning to defraud my client through marriage and divorce, this claim is frivolous and made in bad faith." The judge agreed and dismissed the case with prejudice, meaning Amanda couldn't refile. The judge also ordered Amanda to pay my legal fees, $8,000. Amanda's response? She declared bankruptcy. She literally had nothing left. Update 3. 6 months after the wedding that wasn't, I ran into Derek at a grocery store. He looked terrible, gaunt, exhausted, defeated. He saw me, and for a second I thought he might say something, but he just looked down and hurried away. I heard through mutual connections that Derek and Amanda had broken up. Turns out their relationship only worked when it was exciting and forbidden. When they were just 2 broke, unemployed, disgraced people living in a shitty apartment, but romance died fast. They'd been fighting constantly, blaming each other for their situation. Derek eventually got hired at a small marketing firm in San Antonio, making a fraction of his previous salary. He moved away to start over. His ex-wife Melissa got full custody of their kids and a very favorable divorce settlement. Last I heard, Derek was living in a 1-bedroom apartment and working 2 jobs to pay child support and alimony. Amanda's fall was even more spectacular. She couldn't find work in Austin. The viral video made her unemployable in any professional setting. She eventually took a job as a server at a chain restaurant in a suburb where people were less likely to recognize her. Her Instagram, which used to be full of glamorous photos and aspirational content, went dormant. Her friends abandoned her. Her family barely spoke to her. She tried to restart her life by moving to Dallas, but the internet is forever. The video had spread beyond Austin. Someone recognized her at her new job and shared the story. She was fired and had to move again. As for me, life got exponentially better. I kept the house, obviously. I redecorated, removing every trace of Amanda. I turned her craft room into a home gym. I adopted a dog, a golden retriever named Justice. Yes, really. My career flourished. I got promoted to senior director with a significant raise. My friends told me I seemed lighter, happier, more like my old self. I started dating again about 8 months after the wedding disaster. I was careful this time, taking things slow, watching for red flags. I met a woman named Sophia at a friend's party. She was a veterinarian, kind, honest, and when I eventually told her the Amanda story, her response was perfect. "That's insane. I'm so sorry you went through that. But honestly, the JUMBOTRON move was legendary. Sophia and I have been together for 6 months now. It's healthy, genuine, and built on actual trust and communication. No hidden phones, no suspicious late nights, no Derek." The viral video eventually died down, though it still pops up occasionally on Reddit revenge story compilations on YouTube. I get recognized sometimes. People want to shake my hand, buy me drinks, tell me I'm a hero. It's It's weird but also kind of validating. Last month, I received an email from Amanda. Subject line, "I'm sorry." The email was long, rambling, full of excuses and explanations. She claimed she'd been lost and confused and that Derek had manipulated her. He hadn't. The messages made it clear she was a willing participant. She said she'd been in therapy and had realized how badly she'd hurt me. She asked if I could ever forgive her and maybe give her a second chance. I deleted the email without responding. She didn't deserve closure. She didn't deserve forgiveness. She deserved exactly what she got. Consequences. I'm sitting in my backyard right now, Justice asleep at my feet, watching the sunset over the fence line where Amanda used to stand and talk about our future together. That future never existed. It was always a lie, a performance, a scam. But my real future, that's just beginning. And it's Amanda-free, Eric-free, and drama-free. People ask me if I regret the Jumbotron move, if I think I went too far, if I should have just canceled quietly and moved on with dignity. Hell no. Amanda didn't just cheat on me. She didn't just break my heart. She planned, in cold calculated detail, to marry me under false pretenses, steal half my assets, and then leave me financially destroyed while she ran off with her married lover. She destroyed my $4,000 tuxedo in a fit of rage. She stole my grandmother's ring and tried to extort me for $50,000. She called me an idiot and thought she could manipulate her way out of consequences. The Jumbotron wasn't revenge. It was truth. Every single thing I showed was real, documented, and undeniable. I didn't lie. I didn't exaggerate. I just exposed her for exactly who she was in front of the people she'd been lying to for years. And yes, it destroyed her reputation. Good. Reputation should be based on character, and Amanda's character was rotten to the core. She earned every consequence that followed. The best part, I didn't have to lift a finger after the wedding. I didn't harass her, didn't stalk her, didn't interfere with her life. I just showed the truth once, publicly, and then let the natural consequences play out. Society did the rest. Employers didn't want to hire a known fraud. Friends didn't want to associate with a cheater. Family didn't want to support someone who planned to commit marriage fraud. All I did was turn on the lights. Amanda's cockroach-like behavior scattered when exposed to the sun. Some people say I'm petty, that I should have just called off the wedding and moved on. But those people don't understand what it's like to have someone you love look you in the eye every day while secretly planning your destruction. They don't understand the violation of trust, the gaslighting, the sheer sociopathic calculation of it all. Amanda got exactly what she deserved. Not more, not less. Just consequences proportional to her actions. And me, I got my life back. My house, my dog, my peace of mind. A new relationship built on actual honesty. And the satisfaction of knowing that somewhere in a one-bedroom apartment in whatever city Amanda's run to now, she's living with the permanent consequences of thinking she could outsmart, outmaneuver, and outscam someone who was only ever guilty of loving her. The Jumbotron told the truth. The truth destroyed her. And I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Cheating bride shredded my tuxedo. I revealed her affair on the wedding Jumbotron. She lost everything. Her job, her family, her reputation, her freedom. That's not revenge. That's just justice, displayed on a 40-foot screen for all to see.